place its business above moral issues, particularly when profits are at stake. You will each get 3 minutes to elaborate your opinion. Today's jury is Samra, Savannah, and Maria. I'd like to introduce Brian, Maxime, and Hannah as opposition, and Maureen, Jacqueline, and Ivana as proposition.
Oh. And we're going to start by the opposition. Hannah, it's your turn.
Well, welcome everybody for this debate today. Today we're going to discuss about the statement a business should place its business above moral issues, even when, particularly when the profits are at stake. So what they say is that it is very important to make your business successful as possible, and sometimes you have to take some risks, and don't look at the moral issues. I have 3 arguments: the risk argument, the moral argument, and the profit argument. But the risk argument is sometimes you have to take some risk to make your business successfully. It's very important these days to make a business a successful business, and these days you see more that business they make their own rules, and sometimes it's a good thing to break some rules, sometimes they don't. But to make it successfully, you don't always have to look at the moral issues. Now the moral argument, a company has to create its own moral issues, its own rules, and its own value in the company. That's very important, and it's not always the same as other companies. That's why it can be sometimes comes sometimes a discussion about how a business think about something than other companies. About the profit argument, these economic crises, you see a lot of business goes not very well. The profits are very low, and it's hard when it's hard for a company to get up again. It's very important to do everything about it to make the profit go up again. That's why it's important to in this situation to not look always at the moral issues. Thank you for your time.
And from the proposition, Maureen, it's your turn.
Thank you. Welcome opponents, jury. Today we're going to debate about the statement a business should place its business above moral issues. Well, we totally disagree with this statement, therefore we have 3 arguments. We also have a moral argument, just like our opponents, but our argument is different than theirs. Our moral argument: laws are based on norms and values we have in our country. Like we have a law that children could not work because they are young, and ill people do not have to work because they're sick and it's not good for their health. So we have made these rules based on norms and values. We live in a good welfare country, so let's stay that way and not think only about our business, but truly of moral issues, because that's very important. Our second argument is the economic argument. If companies ignore moral issues, like for example child labor, that is not a good thing for our economy. For example, children are going to work for a company because they are because they make less costs. The older people get fired because they cost too much money, so the older people have no job, and this is really bad for our economy. So another reason why moral issues are very important. Our second argument is the image argument. Today moral issues are a very trending topic in business world. If companies do not listen to their moral issues or the moral issues of the customers, this is very bad for their image. Customers from nowadays have a very high, how do you say it? Customers are very critical these days. It's important that the quality of the product is good. It's important what they make, but also how it makes, how the company make their products. So that is another argument why moral issues are very important. Thank you.
Your turn.
As Hannah said, you have to take, as a company or brand, you have to take risks to get successful. And moral issues can ruin or decrease the profits of a company. Moral issues are things like child labor, pollution, and paying the employees of your company or brand too low wages. All these things have a big influence in the financial aspect of the company. And it is well known that cheaper products are mostly made by kids.
Do you think that you have to let children work for products, young children, for your own company,
No.
for profit, so you break rules?
No, but I just said that that these are moral issues, that child labor is an example of moral issue. I don't want to say that. I think it's okay. Yes? Okay. It is very important that a company follows its own way. Yeah? Okay. Moral issues can block this way because the company or brand gets critic when the company ignores these morals. But when the company always act like the morals and all the rules that are in a company, then the company gets stuck in their creative process. And in this time of economic crisis, companies and brands must do everything to get enough profit. There are enough companies that get already bankrupt due to this crisis and its expensiveness and many rules. So when a company gets economic problems, they should go their own way and do everything to get enough problem and not go bankrupt because otherwise people will lose their jobs.
Thank you. As I think I've just heard it this way, I'm not sure if it was correctly. As I heard from the opponents, they do not think child labor is okay, but when companies are losing profit or maybe getting bankrupt, then they should just do whatever they can, including child labor, including firing people, including doing whatever they can to keep their profits high. Now, of course, we disagree. We think that that is out of the question. It's not normal. Sorry, I have to finish first. In our country, we have laws, actual rules that are based on norms and values. Now, of course, every company has their own moral, like they have their own norms and values. But besides those, the norms and values they already have, there are laws based on norms and values we all agree on. So it is really not. It's really out of the question that companies can just ditch these rules if they just lose profit. You cannot just fire people and take up like 50 kids from 5 to work because else you lose profit. You cannot ditch all your chemicals in the sea because you are losing profit. Like, that's not what we want. It's really out of the question. Then about the profit argument, of course we don't want any companies to lose profit, but really the economy we have, of course some companies will lose profit, and if they do, then of course they can take risks, but not in the way the opponents say. We think that they should be creative. We think that they should look at other ways because there are like a lot of different things you can do on the market to compete. And if it's really that way that you are losing, then there's nothing really we can do about it. So that is why we are against. I think this is it. Thank you.
Brian, your turn.
Okay, like Jacqueline just said, she is trying to, she keeps telling us that that we are, started wrong. Like Hannah already said, sometimes you have to take risk without your, to take risks to make your business successful. The goal of a business is to make profits, and everything should be done to keep that safe. But we're not, when we say everything, we mean not things like child labor or other things that are far too illegal that we aren't actually supposed to use. But even if moral issues if you focus more on the issues than the profits, then you have a very big chance that your company might get in financial trouble, which can cause it to fall. And this is because of the chance that you might lose great opportunities that can come your way. And another thing that I want to add is that people are still the one to make the decisions of companies that are against the norms and values. For example, the option to sell cigarettes. This is a moral issue because companies are selling a product that can cause bad health and or even bad health for consumers and or even kill them. Cigarettes is something that's very popular, and people still buy them even though it's written on it that smoking kills. In other words, people still have the power to choose whether they're going to buy it or not. The main purpose of business is to make profits, and if products like that still sell, it should be no problem to make money of that. So the moral issues shouldn't be in the way. To conclude everything that we just said, our first argument was that that you have to take risks to be successful in the company. Otherwise, you can't you can't survive in the future. Our second argument was that a company doesn't have to have the same moral issues like other companies. And our third argument was that if the profits of a business are low and a company is having difficulties, it's important to do everything to make your company successful again. By any means. Thank you for attention.
Now the last speaker of today, Ivana.
We just absolutely disagree with the statement. We think that moral issues are a very important thing in our society, and we made that clear with our three arguments: the moral argument, the economical argument, and the image argument. There are made laws, and these laws are there not for nothing. We just must follow the rules, and everybody, because otherwise our society is going to collapse. Everybody must follow these rules because we can't make children work from 9 to 5 for a business. It's just not against our principles. Our economical argument, Jacqueline just explained us about our economic is going to collapse because we're going against these moral issues. Then the image argument, customers are not only focusing on what is made, but also on how it is made. So if something is made in a good way, this will lead to a good image. We just think it's very important that the business place its moral issues above the business issues because of our three arguments. And we live in a society with a good welfare. And that is because we think that moral issues have a big value. I think it's obvious that we won this debate because our arguments were very strong. And yes, the opponents just couldn't really reprove our arguments. So I think it's clear. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you all for giving your arguments today. Let me start by saying what I what feedback I have for you. I think the opposition started very well. You had some quality arguments. You gave them all a name. They were relevant to the statement that was discussed today. I just think you should have used more sources, and you should have based your arguments on facts that you have from reliable sources. I do think you did explain your arguments, but you didn't react on as much on the arguments that they gave. I do think you all talked very well. It was clear, and your volume was very good. And the last feedback I could give you is that you shouldn't read from the paper that you have in front of you. You should talk like you already know what you're talking about. For the proposition, I think you did very well. You reacted good on their arguments, and you had your arguments were from good quality. Also, I think that you also should use more reliable sources based on the facts and not on your opinions. Your volume was very good. It was very clear to listen to you, and you didn't read all from your paper like they did. So, thank you.
Now, I totally agree with my other theories. I also think that the proposition was speaking louder than the opposition, so it was more clear for me. Summer said it already.
Well, my opinion about your debate. I think your group started really well. It was really clear. Good question from Ivana. But I have to say that, Jacqueline, you have to react on, she asked a question, you have to decline or accept it, and you didn't do anything about it.
I just said I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you had a nice conclusion. You said why you should win this debate. You didn't, but you did have a nice conclusion with all your arguments. Whereas I agree with my colleague, she said it already all. So I'd like to thank you all for this debate.
Waarvan?
Moeten wij zeggen de deze?
Ja.
Moeten jullie zeggen opleggen?
Okay, so we've discussed based on your arguments that you gave and your the way you've talked and all the feedback that we gave you, and we can now conclude that we think the proposition has won this debate because they had good arguments, they were clear, and they had more facts based on their arguments. So thank you all for joining.
Yeah.